Howdy, howdy, y'all. I've got another Vynnset game to watch. Today I'm playing against Aurora. Aurora is a pretty strong aggro deck. She is able to use Warmongers pretty well, making her one of the best runeblades at fighting other runeblades. She has a lot of instant speed tricks. She has a lot of on-hits, not really disruptive, but ones that push her own game plan. She's just generally able to present pretty good value, and then on her big pop-off turns with Gone in a Flash and a bunch of instants, she really becomes a problem. So we're kind of looking to outpace her. So since she goes so fast, we are taking Dyadic Carapace instead of Tunic. I'm just not going to be able to get that Tunic value too often. Running the rest of the regular equipment. She runs, I think it's called Electrostatic Discharge, the +3 instant to the next attack, so you'll know that it's coming. So Face Purgatory is pretty good into her. I am running Sync Belows since I am bringing Dyadic. I don't have any room for any one costs. I'm not bringing in Chains. I'm not bringing in my slow game package, Read the Runes in Oblivion. Just bring in Succumb, Malefic, and Sink Below. A lot of her relevant attacks are on breakpoints, so Sink Below comes in really clutch there. Yeah, it's honestly a pretty close matchup between two aggro decks, but I always believe in Vynnset, so let's see if we can win it. So drawing up our first hand, we've got two whales, one of which is going straight into the bin. We have a Funeral Moon that we can play out to guarantee we can play a Deathly Whale next turn. And then we'll just Arsenal Mauvrin Skies. And we're pretty set. You can see our opponent's on Tunic. They're on Tunic so that they can play their Lightning Greaves without pitching a card. Grasp and Crown to avoid our Widespread Destruction disruption. She's pretty susceptible to disruption, but my opponent recently has kind of settled on playing Face Purgatory instead. Vynnset likes to hold on to some pretty strong cards in hand once she sends a big attack, so it's probably worth it. Ravenous Rabble here. Then we can take a look at our hand. We've got two banished targets. One is another whale, which we don't really need. Our hand kind of is calling out to play Mauvrin Skies, Mauvrin Skies, Deathly Whale, Revel in Runeblood, Widespread Destruction. It's just telling us that that's the hand we should play. You know, lets us efficiently turn all of our cards into value. So, we'll see if we give this Deathly Whale up to block here. Just letting the 3 go through. The only on-hit against Aurora that can't be played out at instant speed is Snatch. So I'm generally holding onto my attacks or onto my blocks just in case I get to cash them in on a Snatch. But Ravenous Rabble a second time from the Electromagnetic Somersault kind of calls out to me that there's not maybe an on-hit next time. So I just give the block. I don't want my opponent to make an embodiment of lightning and just pass on me while I have an extra card in hand. Arcanic Shockwave for 1 and 4. We are just taking 1 and 4. I like the Talishar logos like Fuse and the aim counters. Dominate, Overpower. Those are always fun. So we get our Widespread Destruction banish. And then I think we're just looking at playing Mauve. Yep. If we play the Shadow Puppetry and pay the life to get an extra damage out of Deathly Whale, we would lose our Mauvrin Skies to the Widespread Destruction effect. So we're just playing the Mauve. Holding on to our Shadow Puppetry. Also, we're sending a 5-power attack. If we could put Shadow Puppetry later down the line on a 6-power and bump it up to a breakpoint, that is hugely relevant. You know, getting your Shadow Puppetry to hit is huge in this deck now. Getting extra cards in Banish is so important. So, we're kind of thinking around how can we really best get every inch out of that value and make those hit. So, our opponent blocking with Crown because they know we're going to send the Destruction, but we're just going to send the Destruction anyway. Makes the best use of the cards in our hand. So it's just a blank 6, 5 rune chance, you know, take 11 I guess. We get a Shadow Puppetry to line up. Then this next hand, our opponent playing down a Channel Lightning Valley, so they're going to give us some headache. We have a Deathly Whale that we can play out of Banish, breaking our Vexing Quill hand, or we can play it from hand, pitching Shadow Averser. We've got Succumb, we've got, you know, Funeral Moon is not going to get us to playing our Deathly Whale, but we could banish it in lieu of banishing the whale in order to just play it from hand. So I think what we want to do is maybe just break Vexing Quill Hand here. We can play Shadow Puppetry, Deathly Whale, and know that we're going to have 2 Rune Chants next turn. And then we can maybe get Succumb out. I think in this Arc Lightning, presenting the Channel Lightning Valley damage in order to draw a card, we are just going to pitch AB. Make our opponent show us what they have if they want to try to get their hit here. Because we're probably going to get 3 value out of this Shadow Averser anyways. And then 4, I could block with Equipment, but I really don't see myself holding off this entire turn. I would have to give a card in Dyadic here, and then another card on the Starfall, and my opponent still has another card in hand. I am just going to take the 4. I'll let my opponent draw their card. And then 1 Arcane from Arc Lightning on Chainlink Resolution, so just pay it off residually. Starfall here for 2. There's no more on hit. Channel Lightning Valley's already hit. We don't need to worry about it. And then Arc Lightning gets another AB. And then I'm looking to eject this Funeral Moon from my hand. I'd like it to be worth more than 1 value. So we'll just give it up on the Second Strike. Second Strike is a great card. I think it's an amazing card from the set. Our opponent playing the Lightning Press. You know, it's just damage. We're chill with damage. They're choosing to play out the Lightning Press instead of arsenaling it, which is interesting. You know, I don't have a Destruction sitting in Banish, so I guess it's heads up from our opponent, but you know, if you can push through a Snatch or another Channel Lightning Valley hit with that, I think that's more worth it, but I don't think anything's particularly wrong. So Shadow Puppetry is the play, and looks like we are just going to break Vexing Quill Hand. You know, it's hasty, but I'm going to get to take Rune Chants to my next turn. So we're guaranteeing we get Rune Chants next turn, unless we hit on this and we do want to just kind of send it. But our opponent's just blocking out 8. So we're going to choose not to play the Succumb. You know, we get to Arsenal it. Keep the threat over our opponent's head. Looked like that last turn was an Arc Lightning and 2 Static Shocks, so, you know, really amazing options for our opponent. Now this hand is pretty weird. We brought the Rune Chants with us, but we don't really have anything to use them on. Shadow of Ursa is our only attack. We do want to use Succumb at some point, you know. We only have 1 attack, but we have all these cards in hand to use. So we're trying to play Shadow of Ursa, probably put Funeral Moon in Banish, or just play it out. We have no use for Deadwood Dirge this turn, so we could just use it for 2 value and keep a Succumb, or just Arsenal Deadwood Dirge. So we'll see what we do. I think I would want to do exactly what I end up doing. I think this is fine. We cripple our opponent's turn with Succumb if we play it, and Deadwood Dirge and Arsenal is super valuable, especially because we just used Vexing Quill Hand. We really want to have some insurance. Deadwood Dirge is just another copy of Vexing Quill Hand that you put in the deck. It's very handy. So 1 Succumb getting played when our opponent says no blocks, and we're just running out the second one. We're just using the cards. So we've got 3 4 attacks and a Sizzle. Snatch is an amazing card. I think we're definitely taking Snatch. But between Flittering Charge and Lightning Surge, Flittering Charge is more versatile, I feel like, although our opponent doesn't have an instant right now. But Lightning Surge, if they Arsenal it, is always going to have Go Again, whereas if they Arsenal Flittering Charge, if we cripple their turn and they can't do anything but Arsenal, if we make them Arsenal Flittering Charge instead of Lightning Surge, they need to do something on that turn to give it Go Again. So I think I end up taking the Flittering Charge, but probably should have taken the Lightning Surge. So definitely taking the Snatch, though. We don't want to have to deal with no on-hits. Then the second one, really debating between Flittering and Lightning Surge. Sizzle is not even a thought. It's only 3 value, the other 2 are 4. Debating, but going ahead and banishing the Flittering Charge. Just because, you know, if they do have an instant in their arsenal, they could give that Flittering Charge go again and play all of their cards, which would be a lot of damage. And then we had 3 action points there, which is kind of crazy, but we have no use for them. We're just going to swing our flail. We do get the hit, we get our Runechant. And then to play the Funeral Moon or not to play the Funeral Moon, if I had another attack in Banish, and playing Funeral Moon or holding on to Funeral Moon would help me to, you know, connect multiple attacks on a following turn, I would want to hold on to it. But right now, I am probably 2 turns at least from getting that kind of usage out of Funeral Moon, and I would rather just get it out of my Blood Debt and just get the Runechant from it. Then we get to Arsenal a Dirge, so we've got some insurance going forward. And we know our opponent's turn is pretty weak. Now, Sizzle into Starfall is not bad. Just block him with Deadwood Dirge, and we are left with a Widespread Ruin, a Beseech, and a Malefic. Just really good cards. Beseech is going to help us to accelerate our Banish. And Malefic is just great, especially with a Dirge in the arsenal. Malefic is amazing. We love to see that. You know, just having more opportunities to get extra Runechants from Deadwood Dirge. Then our opponent plays out the Lightning Channel Valley at the reaction speed, so we really can't interact with it. So, suck it up. It's not too bad. We just take some damage. Doesn't stop us from playing out our turn. So, we have no reason to use the Dirge here. So it's just Malefic, Beseech. And if we get a hit with Widespread Ruin, since we've just paid the life, we'll have 1 Runechant from Malefic Incantation, and we can use that Runechant to play Deadwood Dirge, and go up to 3 Runechants and play anything that we hit off of Widespread Ruin. Almost anything, besides Annihilation. So we hit a Bounding, which is cool. Oh, we didn't have an action point. We can't do that. Next turn, maybe. Next turn. Hitting a Bounding. We can look at this hand real quick. It's kind of just the nuts. We could even play Widespread Annihilation. We'd go up to 2 Runechants and then Dirge up to 4. Mauvrin Sky's Annihilation Bounding Demigon. We could play Revel for 4 more damage. We could do that same thing with Deathly Wail and take Runechants to our following turn. You know, we have options. And a lot of them are good. All of them involve playing Deadwood Dirge, so we're glad we have it. But they're all good. We're going to get to play 2 attacks. However, our opponent here plays Channel Lightning Valley, or has Channel Lightning Valley, and plays Electrostatic Discharge, and Twine Lightning for 7. This is a perfect time to use Face Purgatory. You know, we're only at 9, going down to 2 and letting our opponent draw a card, that kills us. We do not want that to happen. So we are going to give, we'll see the Widespread Annihilation and the Revel up. So our turn is just going to be Mauvrin Sky's Deathly Wail into Bounding Demigon, using the Dirge from Arsenal. So we will walk out with Runechants. That's what I'm really looking for. I am prioritizing keeping Runechant consistency over just burst damage with the Widespread Annihilation. So denying our opponent that Channel Lightning Valley on hit, we get our Face Purgatory trigger, and we get a Malefic Incantation, which is great if we get to play it out. Our opponent grasping and swinging Starfall, asking for 2 cards from us, or a card and equipment to draw a card. Honestly, we're coming to the end of the game. I think Malefic trading card for card with them is more worth it than just getting 3 Runechants out of Malefic over time, especially when we have one already down on the board. We're giving our equipment, which we gotta use at some point anyways, and then we get to trade pitching our Malefic for them not drawing a card. That's a worth it trade to me. Deadwood Dirge, Mauvrin Skies, Deathly Whale. Pretty good stuff. Pretty good stuff. Can't really complain. Malefic is just always kind of overperforming. Pulling 1 non-block out of the opponent's hand. And then they have to give us 6. And then we could break the chain here and go to 2 rune chants. And maybe like guaranteed. So if we break the chain here, we go to 2 rune chants. And then we send Bounding Demigon for 4. They take the 2, they go down to 1. Then they can block with a 3 block and grasp to survive. And then we are left with no rune chants going into our next turn. It is more worth it to me to just send the 1 rune chant and then Bounding that they can block. Like, they won't die this turn unless they have a 2 block in hand. Although I think my opponent actually just doesn't use the Grasp of the Arcanite here, but I was firmly on the gas. Yeah, Grasp, they would have survived, but, you know, we had more options going forward. We had 9 HP, we had a Malefic, you know, we were chilling. We had creepers even. So, yeah, pretty quick games versus Aurora. I've got more saved. If anybody wants to see them, let me know in the comments, and I can real quick throw them together, commentate over them. But yeah, Aurora, the games are quick. If you get an early advantage, if you get your disruption when you need it, you can definitely come out on top consistently, but she is a very strong deck. I'd never underestimate an Aurora. But yeah, that's how the games go sometimes. Hope you enjoyed watching. Have a good one. See ya.